Hello and welcome to our tool demonstration here today, where the topic is SAP BW migrations, how you can reduce effort, cut costs, and maximize impact in your migration initiatives. Migrating an SAP BW to Snowflake, to Databricks, or to SAP BDC is a major platform shift. Without the right approach, you risk magnifying existing inefficiencies. Ungoverned data might churn 24/7 in the cloud, consuming compute resources and storage, and therefore driving your cloud bill. However, SAP BW migrations do not need to be your next big cost center. You can easily turn it into your next big value engine instead. In this tool demonstration, I will show you how OneData supports in this. Before the migration, in identifying what is actually needed, what has value, what data objects might be reused, and also what can be left behind. We are creating transparency and visibility in that and speeding up your migration. During the migration, we go one step further. We align with business and we have automation and efficiency functionality that, for example, automatically converts your ABAP code into new future structures in your target system. This all is not a one-time exercise. With our data lifecycle management, you ensure that data is continuously monitored and there's self-service data management. Overall, you can save up to 80% of costs and effort for your migration initiative with OneData. Without further ado, let's jump into the tool. Let's start in our data map. What you can see right here is a whole SAP BW system on metadata level extracted and put into our data map. Behind each of the small hexagons, there is an actual object from the SAP BW that is visible here, transparently made. And if I switch to the second hierarchy level right here, I can also see what kind of object is behind each of the different islands. So I'm going from data source up until the actual query layer in my data map, and everything is made visible at one stage. However, we are not stopping here. But in order to solve our first task in the migration, identifying what actually is relevant to be migrated into our target system, we select the layer relevance based on the usage and criticality of the objects right here. And I can see a different kind of appearance where the darker the objects now get in the back, the higher the criticality, the higher the usage of the actual objects is. And I can see, especially in the query layer, there is a lot that is unused. There is a lot that stayed white right here that I don't have to migrate at all, that I can just decommission and not think about it anymore. You can also see that the whole usage and criticality is not only done for the query layer, but also for other object types right here next to the query layer, the composite provider, for example. To sum it up, what I wanted to show you right here is how OneData is ingesting the metadata from a SAP BW system and what actually how it's actually made transparable in this data map that we provide. In addition to that, I can easily select and identify what is actually relevant for my migration case and not just be in front of a big amount of different parts and assets for my migration project. When I select my relevant first, let's say my first to migrate objects in this example, I will now switch to a different kind of view, our use case canvas. And this is actually used in order to navigate and to prioritize different use cases. You can see here different examples about reporting, inventory, and sales figures, and so on. And I will just create a new one right here for our demo case, reporting demo, and we will jump directly into it. So now a new use case canvas open, and I will now use this environment in order to navigate or to create our use case to be migrated into our target system. And this is easily supported right here in OneData. I can see in the middle, there is a canvas that we are going to fill semi-automatically. And on the right side, there's a wizard opening up for our migration, where in the first step, I will define source and target system just to set the basis for our migration. You can see it right here. I can also include functional requirements into the description phases, but I will, in this example, jump over it and just select the source system and target system. We are talking about an SAP BW as we just saw, and we will just select Snowflake as an exemplary target system in our environment right here. So we want to move something from BW to the Snowflake and out of the BW. In the next step, now it gets more interesting. We saw, based on the criticality, the relevance of the assets, what we actually want to start with. And now I sat together with the data engineers, with business, and we selected one of the composite providers in our BW that I will just put in right here and select as a basis for our migration use case. So FinCom T002, our demo example, is the one composite provider that is around all the other stuff. In the second step, I will now add and attach the upstream assets. So the whole data lineage for this one composite provider is provided and is attached automatically with a click of a single button, and I can see the whole data flow from the composite provider up until the ERP that is far on the left side that I have transparently made available in this regard. So this is the current state. This is how it is in the BW, and is therefore our basis. We want to take over as much as possible from our existing system and not do it all again on our own, but really focus on that to make it as efficient as possible in the end. Based on this and all the other information, I will now move to the target structure, so to the design phase of my use case. And with a simple click on a setup, an agentic AI system is now generating a target system and structure out of this selected parts that I had earlier. I can now move in again and identify what is actually needed, readjust names of different objects right here to make it more visible and better understandable in my target. Or I can simply use the AI agent that has been doing that, for example, in renaming or automatically renaming a lot of different parts and redesigning for business and so on. So AI assistance and powers at a lot of stages in here, making it really efficient and saving me a lot of effort in designing actually my future use case in this. Once I finished my design phase, I will add one additional part. So now I sat together with business. We aligned on the target structure that we actually want to have in our Snowflake environment, what we selected, and we finished the design phase. Technical functional requirements are all clear. I will now go into the setup phase of my actual use case of my different assets in here, and there additional AI capabilities come into place where I can now select one of these different parts and automatically set up the target structure directly in Snowflake or in the Git environment. So with a simple click on migrate assets right here, now an agentic system is taking all the metadata of these assets, all the additional instructions I gave, and also all the ABAP code that is behind these transformations in the end, and is taking it to set up automatically SQL scripts, in this regard, Snowflake macros actually for my target environment, immensely speeding up my implementation process for this part. I can also see on the right side, there is an AI log running through that explains to me where it is at the moment, where it's what it's thinking about, what actually the tasks are. So I really get the understanding of what happens here and what happens here in this transformation that I in the end want to migrate away from. Once this has finished, I will get a summary of this and a success message, and we can also have a final look into this, how it's looking like. So this would be one example right here from the Git environment where the SQL code is actually transferred right here, computable, takeable by Snowflake and not ABAP code anymore. So this was what I wanted to show you. To sum it up in the end, I showed you how OneData is integrating metadata from SAP BW system, creating data map out of it and providing a big amount of transparency around it, and showing on the other side how I can easily identify what is relevant for the migration, what are the important parts that I need to migrate as quickly as possible. In addition, we focused on the alignment and the design phase of a future use case, where I showed you how you can use existing structures to automatically set up a target structure for my Snowflake or for my hyperscaler environment. And we didn't stop here, but we automatically translated based on the ABAP code in the SAP BW system to a Snowflake environment and translated into SQL code in the end. If any of that caught your interest, then please drop by at our booth or even book your one-on-one beforehand using this QR code right here. And I'm looking forward to any interaction.